Hi, I'm Gretchen Spiker with the City of Topeka.
And I'm India Yarborough with the Greater Topeka Partnership.
The Topeka Talk podcast is back for Season 2 for more meaningful community conversations.
We've got a great lineup in store, and we're excited to have you along for the ride this season. Before getting into the show, we'd like to highlight our first ever Topeka Partnership podcast sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Compass Marketing and Advertising Partners. Compass Marketing and Advertising takes their clients through the entire marketing process, from defining a client's business strategy to designing their message in all formats to delivering that message to their target markets. For an agency that partners with your business to navigate new territory and chart paths to success, connect with Compass Marketing and Advertising Partners at weareyourcompass.com. Thank you, Compass, for supporting the Greater Topeka Partnership and Topeka Talk podcast. Now back to the show.
Well, hello, friends. We're back in the swing of things after a very brief 1-month hiatus.
That's right. We're super excited about this month's episode, which dives deep into how the Greater Topeka Partnership and City of Topeka support small businesses in Shawnee County.
We know that small businesses help our community thrive by creating jobs, building prosperity, and contributing to a great local quality of life.
Go Topeka, which is the economic development arm of the Greater Topeka Partnership, administers the Topeka Shawnee County Small Business Incentives Program, offering grants to help small business owners and startups invest in their companies and, by extension, invest in the community as a whole.
Incentives are funded through the community's Joint Economic Development Organization, commonly known as JADO. Those incentives are offered year-round but awarded quarterly. And it so happens that the autumn grant deadline is coming up in November, so we wanted to shine a spotlight on all that's offered through the program and also talk about how those incentives impact business owners.
We'd like to welcome to the podcast today Stephanie Norwood, Go Topeka's new Director of Entrepreneurship and Small Business. Stephanie oversees the incentives program for the GTP.
Also, welcome to Pedro Concepcion. Pedro is a local small business owner operating some of Topeka's favorite small businesses like the Wheelbarrow and NOTO and K.I.T Solutions, which supports many other local establishments. Pedro is also a past recipient of small business incentives, so we're super excited to have him share his perspective.
Yeah, Stephanie, Pedro, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So, Stephanie, we're going to start with you. High level, walk us through the Small Business Incentives Program. What does it look like and how does it work?
Absolutely. So you mentioned it was funded through JADO. So these are tax dollars serving our county businesses and residents that live within the county and have their businesses here. So what happens is you approach us and fill out the application, some initial information where we get demographics and contact information, business information, website and such. And then there's some following supporting documents. And it's enough work to make it worth your time. You do have to jump through just a few small hurdles, but we make it pretty easy and we work with you in that process. But you provide supporting documents like taxes and your W-9, your 941, depending on how many employees you have, things like that. And then you also provide the bids of the quotes and projects that you want to work on, because those are what we are specifically approving. We want to see the projects that are going to provide your business the economic impact that we're looking for. What's going to expand your services? What's going to offer your customer base something new and exciting, and maybe bringing something new to our community? We want to support startups or people who have been around for a while, entrepreneurs of all ages and sizes. So we're just really excited about the program, and it is a pre-approval process. So you don't make any purchases ahead of time, and you do have to make the purchase in full. But then after the fact, once it's approved and you've done it all and everything is in place, we reimburse up to 50% with some minimums and maximums in there. But that's all shared with you during the process.
Gotcha. So it really kind of hinges on that pre-approval, right? You need to make sure you've got all your boxes checked and your project approved before you start making those purchases, those new investments, just so that everyone's in the clear.
Yeah, so that's one of our biggest things I like to share right off the bat when someone approaches. It doesn't cover anything you've already done, unfortunately, but what you are looking ahead to do, expansion projects, new services, new equipment, marketing plans, we are hopeful that we can support you in that.
Wonderful. Great. Yeah. Well, when you read about the program on Go Topeka's website, which is gotopeka.com for you guys out there, you learn these incentives can apply to everything from marketing to construction, design, equipment purchases, and more. Stephanie, I know you kind of hinted at it, but can you give us a better idea of how small businesses are using their grant funding? What types of projects are they tending to go toward, and do you have a kind of a typical grant dollar amount you could give us an idea of?
Yeah. And, the amount really does vary on what you're looking to do, what kind of incentive you're using, the size of your business based off of how many employees that you have. But I would say some of the most common uses of the incentives are the marketing, the construction renovation, and the equipment, just because that kind of meets everybody's needs. So if you are looking for some equipment that is going to allow you to extend your services, maybe it is videography equipment so you can provide that service to others. That's something new for you, and we'd love to support you as you grow and begin to offer these new services. Maybe it's a construction or renovation to expand your space so you can serve more people, which I think we'll hear a little bit about from Pedro as an example. But we've had lots of things, new products or new equipment to serve new products, equipment that will allow you to expand your service base and maybe serve more out of the county, which we love to see everyone serving their customer base within the county, but as well as outside of the county, because we want that economic impact to reach our region.
Right. And as you grow your customer base too, I mean,
Absolutely.
grow the economic impact locally.
Yeah. And a follow-up question there. I just want to understand like the scalable size of projects that might be eligible. Are we talking about construction in a room in a space? Are we talking about construction of a new building? I'm just trying to kind of wrap my head around whether there's any maximum. So if people have a dream and they hear this and they're like, but maybe my idea is too big. What would be your response to that?
What's great is it can't be too big for Go because we have other programs that might be able to support you. But in the terms of the small business incentives, a small business is those under 100 employees, so up to 99 employees. So for an example, if you own a business and you have 8 employees and you wanted to do a construction project and you are overall going to invest $30,000, we could potentially match up to $15,000. That's our max for that size, but it would be great, if you have other projects that we can do. You can claim multiple incentives in a single window or use them throughout the years. You just can't reuse the same incentive after up to 3 years.
And if I may, we're, later in the conversation, we are planning to mention this website, gotopeka.com/incentives. And actually on that page, there's more than just small business incentives listed. So, some of the other incentives you mentioned, JADO, and some of the other, types of kind of funding mechanisms you can tap into are available in that website, gotopeka.com/incentives. So whether small business incentives are a good fit or not, you may find something else there that will suit your business.
Exactly. A good pitch there, India. And Pedro, popping over to you, could you tell us a little bit more about how these incentives have helped your businesses? What kind of doors have they opened for you? How have these incentives been valuable? And what does it look like in the real world?
I think they're very valuable. I mean, it gives us a chance to kind of plan ahead and making sure that if we want to expand or add more things or equipment, Go Topeka helps us on that process. Sometimes we believe that we can do it all, like we have to spend all this money, but it's a lot of help that they give us. You do have to plan ahead. You have to make sure that the construction or equipment that you actually are going to get or build actually incentivizes your business and making sure that it grows. For us, we used it for our patio. When we bought the wheelbarrow, we noticed that in the winter, it kind of dips down. So we decided in order for us to grow, we needed to build a patio. And we did. We actually applied for the construction. And we had to wait. We had to plan it out, get engineers, get construction, get bids, follow the whole process, and making sure that everything was aligned. So I would recommend anybody to, if they're going to apply, making sure you time ahead, making sure you actually are planning. But it really helps us because financially, there's a lot of money that we put into it. So getting anything back, any amount of money helps an entrepreneur. And it makes them feel a little better that, they have help from your city. So that's exciting about it. It's excited to just know that the city provides programs that helps you kind of achieve your dreams.
Definitely. And if you haven't been over to the Wheelbarrow and seen their new patio space, it's so beautiful, phenomenal. The string lights, what you guys have done to really...
A whole vibe.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was about to say. The ambiance is on point. And Pedro, I'm curious, how did you first hear about small business incentives through Go Topeka?
We actually help quite a bit. Kid Solutions helps restaurants and other small businesses. So every time an entrepreneur, they're afraid of how much money goes into a business, I kind of send them to the resources we have. Working with Glenda before, trying to see what we can do, what the city can do. Because sometimes, like I said, we think it's going to cost all this much money to build something. But you'll be surprised with what help you can get. It might cost a lot less. So we try to figure out how we can help and how the city programs can help make people build here in Topeka, because that's what we're trying to push. We want to make sure that entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, stay in Topeka and realize you can build your dream here and you don't have to go somewhere else.
Definitely. It's a great perspective. And kind of along those lines, with equity being an important piece in all that we do, the city of Topeka recently began assisting the GTP with providing technical assistance on this program to help bridge the gap for any Spanish-speaking business owners who might need help filling out the application. Stephanie mentioned there's some hoops to go through, as well as just working through the overall process. So, Stephanie, I understand there will be some workshops coming up for our Spanish-speaking business owners or those who have a dream to become a business owner. What can you tell us about those new opportunities?
Yeah, we're very excited about that. So obviously there are different pockets of our community that could use assistance, but we're starting here because we feel like the language barrier is the hardest one to get through. And if we can help with translation services and tech assistance, not everybody is familiar with working a computer from all different ages, different communities. That's a hurdle in different areas. So helping them understand what the program is, how it can serve them, give them examples of how we can serve them, and help them understand the process, and then actually helping them fill out the applications with somebody that can help them with that language barrier in a neutral place that they feel comfortable attending. So we are having information sessions at the library in September. We're going to have 2 on September 11th, one at 10 a.m., one at 4 p.m. So hopefully during those time frames, it works for the groups that are interested. But we'll have an information session. It's all going to be in Spanish. They can ask questions, and then they can sign up for a workshop where we'll be in the new Level 2 Tech Lab, which is amazing if you haven't ever been.
And we actually recorded a podcast.
We were the first podcast to record there. We love it.
That's such a great asset to our community, and they have lots of computers and private spaces up there. And the library is willing to provide additional laptops as needed, so that's wonderful for us. But we'll have people there that are knowledgeable of the program and can speak Spanish that can help them fill out those applications and help them identify the documents that they need and find those documents, because the library has lots of assets and trained people on how to do taxes and how to do these things. So they already have those resources there. We're just building on that for this specific program. But we're hoping this pilot program really works, and then we can repeat it and then, use it in different communities as well.
So save the date, September 11th.
Definitely.
Yes, very excited.
At the Topeka County Public Library. Love it. And Pedro, back to you for a second. I'm kind of curious if you could kind of explain, what makes Topeka a great place to be a small business owner and to open a small business or run a small business. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like it's just an opportunity, and Topeka's going through this little renaissance where everybody's trying to help everybody. From entrepreneurs to the city to programs. I'm excited about the Spanish.
Yeah.
Go Topeka. I've been kind of preaching that we needed that, and when I saw it, I shared it right away. Things like this, it's not just only for certain people; it's for everyone.
Yeah.
So when you guys put that up there, I'm like, yes, that's the next step, to kind of target that demographic and making sure they also get help, because we get a lot of questions about, hey, can you help me fill this out? Can you translate this? And it's just nice for them to actually now have a place where they can go and get answers. So I think the opportunity and you're able to, if you really wanted to build something, find it. I mean, it does take due diligence for you to actually research and stuff like that. But Topeka, it's not that big that you can actually find the resources, find the people to help you, from mentors to, people that help you with financial aid and things like that. I think it's very, very doable. I think Topeka's growing and growing as a big city, but we're still having our morals intact. So we're still trying to help each other out instead of just motivated by greed or other things. We're actually making sure that our neighbors succeed just like we do.
Definitely.
So I'm excited about it, and I think that makes it a lot easier. And I'm very surprised. A lot of people, if you need something, I have people that message me just randomly, and I'm like, yeah, go here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we help each other, the city grows. And you got to get this mindset that competition is not bad. Competition is good for everybody, so our city can get better things, so we can be motivated to build more or be better at what we do. So I love our community, and I love the programs that the city provide, because it does give you a chance to kind of build something with some help.
Right. And it's community-minded competition too, right? Which I think there's some nuance in that, because there is competition, but everyone wants to see each other succeed, which is really beautiful in a community of this size, I feel like.
We have a lot of mentorships, like Albany does a good job of trying to teach our youth and our entrepreneurs to stay here. And I think that's the goal right now, making sure that people understand and realize you can build here and then expand. The resources are here. We just have to teach them and show them And hopefully with more entrepreneurs, teaching and mentoring, we can keep our talent here and build more.
Build here, grow anywhere.
Yeah, we really are a big little city after all, There's so many ways to connect, like you're saying, and I don't think you can find that in a lot of places. So it's sort of this Goldilocks, perfect size. So yeah.
Well, and Pedro, real quick before we move on from you, what advice might you have for, your fellow small business owners in the community or budding entrepreneurs who maybe don't have that small business yet? Whether they're considering expanding or considering these incentives or just wondering, whether they're a good fit or not. Any advice for those sorts of people?
I think the first thing is write it down, because anything's an idea until you kind of put it on paper. Write it down and then do your research. Talk to your fellow friends, entrepreneurs. I mean, if you like a restaurant that you really love, maybe talk to the owner or talk to the manager, send a message on how they did it. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. And you might think, oh, it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to do all this. You might be surprised that it doesn't. And the city actually helps you to an extent. So you have to ask questions, be informed, go to, seminars or startups or things like that the city actually provides. I mean, they do quite a bit of workshops. Go to them, ask questions. Don't be afraid, because you might be surprised that your idea might take a lot less than what you think it takes to actually build.
That's a really good perspective. And as we kind of wrap up today's episode, we understand that, as we mentioned earlier, the next application window closes in late November. So definitely lots of time for folks to, one, attend that information session on September 11th, but then also time to put pen to paper, like you said, Pedro, and get those applications in and make some dreams come true. So do either of you have any pro tips? I know you've talked about some, but anything that can help guide a small business owner as they fill out those applications?
Yeah, I mean, I am here to help them. I want to help them through the whole process, whether they just need a little additional information over the phone or want to come in or meet somewhere. I am more than willing to do that. And I think it's important to mention that we have offerings beyond these incentives. Not everybody is ready for these. Like you said, it starts with an idea, and we want to start there with you. So we have mentoring programs where we will pair you up with a mentor in the community who wants to help those startups. We have partners in the community, Network Kansas, the Small Business Development Centers, Washburn University, Omni. Just last night I attended a youth pitch contest. So we're starting early. We're putting the entrepreneurial mindset into our youth in this community. So we're going to continue to grow. And I think it's important that everybody knows that there's room for them here. There's room for their ideas. There's room for their businesses. And we want to see those happen. So whatever that means for them, whatever kind of support that they need, we want to be able to offer that to them. If it's not from us, I want to connect you with who can. So reach out to us and let us be a connection point for you.
And Stephanie, if someone wants to get in touch, how might they do that? Do you have an email address you want to drop?
Yeah, sure. It's stephanie.norwood@topekapartnership.com, or you can be connected through gotopeka.com, and we'll definitely get you to where you need to go.
Awesome. And Pedro, your thoughts on the side?
I would honestly say timing. Just making sure that you're putting on paper, ask questions, and making sure you have a rough draft of what you're trying to build. So that way it'll be a lot easier for anybody to connect the dots and send you in the right place. Because if not, it'll be troublesome to figure out what you want to do, what you can do. Let's figure out what you could do and then see where we can send you so you can, get all the help you actually need. But make sure you plan ahead, because some of these grants, Network Kansas, go to Topeka, it's all a deadline, it's all procedures, it's all making sure you have the paperwork. So make sure you have the time to get the paperwork. Make sure you have the time to get bids and stuff like that. Just timing is very important when you're trying to build something. So you have to be aware.
Start early, probably.
Yeah, start early.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, the next deadline is November 27th, but the application is open at the time of this podcast. So give us a call. Let's get started.
Yeah, gotopeka.com/incentives.
Yes, exactly. Thank you guys so much for such an informative conversation. Any final thought?
Anything we've missed?
Go to the wheelbarrow. It's amazing.
I would say honestly, just keep building, and honestly, anybody out there that's trying to create something, just do it. Failure is not a thing that should stop you; it's just something that should encourage you.
Definitely, failure is unsuccessfully or successfully not giving up is not failure, right? Yeah, so that's something I try to keep in mind for sure. Well, Stephanie, Pedro, you guys have been fantastic guests on the show today. We're so thankful for your time and energy, and check out gotopeka.com/incentives for more on those the incentives we've discussed today. And yeah, check out the next Topeka Talk podcast episode next month.
Yes. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us next time.
You can catch new episodes of Topeka Talk Community Conversations the first week of each month.